Hello and welcome, everybody. This is episode 25 of the 407 and Beyond podcast. And on today's podcast, I am talking with our creative designer who went to Disney's Polynesian Village Resort to eat dinner at Kona Cafe. And so we are going to interview him about his experience, how the food was, and then at the end, he will rate Kona Cafe. So before we get started, the 407 and Beyond podcast is sponsored by 407 and Beyond Vacation Company, Disney and Universal experts who help plan your family's perfect vacation. So all you have to do is show up, have fun, and create family memories. As always, our services are free to you. Visit us on the web at www.407vacations.com. All right, and like I said, today's guest is Casey Little. So Casey, thanks for joining us today.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man.
I'm trying to grow my beard as long as yours.
Oh,
yeah, I'm just not there yet.
I actually just trimmed it. I realized I was starting to look like a mountain man when I had 5 separate people in one day comment, "Oh, you look good with the scraggly beard." So I was like, "Oh, this is it's a problem. I gotta fix it."
Mine's also a little bit more gray than yours. Yeah.
you look distinguished.
Okay, yeah, the distinguished vacation planner, huh? So Casey. Casey, you might notice I have my Star Wars shirt on today, which is covered up by my name here. But that is in honor of Lydia's article that we just published today on the site. And
it's a good one.
It's on Facebook. The top 5 reasons to visit Star Wars Galaxy's Edge over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So if you're interested in that article, check out the article on our blog at 407vacations.com/travel blog, or visit us on Facebook at 407 and Beyond Vacation Company, and there you can find it through one of our posts. So an exciting article by Lydia. It was a lot of fun to read, and I thought it was a lot of good information.
Yeah, that between that and the live show we did the other day, I am very excited to be going. It'll be my first time going to Galaxy's Edge here in a couple weeks, so yeah, it'll be pretty exciting.
I'm looking forward to you going, and I'm hoping that I'm there for your experience at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I'm trying to make that happen, Casey. So.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what Casey's referencing about the live show this week, check out our video from Monday night where we talked about our top 5 attractions at Disney's Hollywood Studios. You can find that on our Facebook page. You can find that on our YouTube channel at 407 and Beyond Vacation Company. And if you are interested in joining the conversation, visit us and join our events Monday nights at 7:30, where we talk with fans and clients live about our favorite Disney things. So. Casey, with all of that,
they're a lot of fun. So be sure you tune in. And I'm always in the chat room. So if you don't want to talk to Bruce, I'm there. So you get the best of both worlds.
Right, exactly. Casey, we'll have to have you on the live show one of these days too. So
yeah, that'll be fun.
Maybe like we'll have like Casey's top 5 dishes at a restaurant or something, because you're the foodie of the group. So
yeah.
So all right, excellent. Let's talk about, speaking of food, let's talk about your experience at Kona Cafe. So you recently went to Kona Cafe for your birthday dinner, right? First off, happy
Correct.
birthday from the 407 and Beyond community. Hope you had a good dinner, but let's talk about it. So what day you went last week, right?
Yeah, so it would have been. Oh, I've lost track of days.
That's what happens when you get to your age, Casey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 25 has done a doozy on me already. It's we went on Sunday.
Okay, all right, and so tell our viewers, did you make reservations? Well, obviously you made reservations because it's required right now at Disney property.
Yep.
But walk me through making that reservation. What was that like? How did you do it, etc.?
So yeah, we were actually at Disney Springs like 2 weeks prior to that. And we just made the reservation while we were there on our phones. Online, we didn't do it through the app. I don't think Lydia actually made the reservation, but I was there with her. Overall, it wasn't too bad once we found out where to go.
Okay.
It's always like finding the right page that you need to be on. That's the hard part. But once you're there, they make it super easy.
So wait, you didn't use the app, right?
I don't think we did. No.
Well, because it sounds like maybe you were on the main page, because using the app, it kind of filters it down for you, and so it's typically pretty easy. But So did you have trouble finding a reservation at the time that you wanted? Did you get, the time that you wanted on the day that you wanted?
Yeah, that was no trouble at all. I mean, like I said, it was a couple weeks out, so I think we were kind of in that safe zone of it not being too crowded, or like not being overbooked. But yeah, we got the perfect time. Our reservation was at 6:30, so we were able to spend some time at Disney Springs, make our way over to the resort, walk around both the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian, and then made it. And we had plenty of time to make it to our reservation. So yeah.
Yeah, and so if you are listening to this, wondering about how you make dining reservations, excuse me, right now Disney has changed it, and it is you are allowed to make dining reservations 60 days out from the first of your vacation. So it used to be 180, but now with the new environment of visiting Disney, it is 60 days. So not that pertains to your dining reservation, Casey. But so let's get back. So you went to the Polynesian. You hung out there first before your dining reservation. Tell
Yep.
me, was the Polynesian busy? Were there a lot of guests in the lobby? How did you feel about being at the Polynesian?
So the Polynesian was a little busy. I think that's a pretty popular resort. So it made sense that there was quite a few people there. We did notice, however, that a lot of, so if you're not aware, the way the Polynesian's broken up is the actual rooms are in multiple different buildings kind of scattered amongst their grounds. And we did notice that a lot of the buildings were shut down. It seems like they were really kind of funneling the guests towards like two or three
Right.
of the buildings.
Well, and at the
So,
Polynesian, rooms aren't even really that open. That's a lot of DVC stays there over at the
oh,
Polynesian.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense then. So yeah, it did feel like there was quite a few people there, but certainly not an unsafe amount. Like if you're comparing it to how it would be during a normal busy season,
Right.
it was like minuscule at most. But yeah, I mean there's definitely some people walking around, some families there playing at the water park, stuff like that.
Nice. So, did you go in any gift shops? Did you walk around the pool? Could you get a Dole Whip at the Pineapple Lanai? What was available? What did you do before dinner?
So yeah, all the gift shops were open, so we kind of just walked around, putzed around through them. The Dole Whip pineapple lanai that's what it's called, right?
Yeah,
That was open. We ended up doing that for dessert.
good.
So
You have to if you're there.
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
100%. Yeah,
yeah. It's without question. So then, what time did you have the reservation at Kona Cafe?
6:30. So
Okay.
we ended up going to Disney Springs at about 3, and the resorts are about 10 minutes from Disney Springs. So we drove over, we walked around Polynesian for a little bit, and then walked over to the Grand Floridian as well to check that out, see, kind of scope that area out.
Okay.
And that was significantly less busy than the Polynesian. I mean, it felt like we were the only ones in the building.
Really?
Um,
What
yeah, the only people we really saw were in the Enchanted bar
Oh
and
yeah,
the
Enchanted
Enchanted
Rose.
Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a few people in the gift shop, but that's about it.
Okay. I think they have the same thing going on over there with DVC stays. So let's get to the main attraction here. Let's get down to business. Tell me about the food. So first off, let's start off. What did the menu look like? Was it a limited menu? Because a lot of places right now on Disney property are having a limited menu offerings for guests. Did the Kona Cafe have a limited offering? And did they have paper menus, or did they transition their menu to the QR code?
So this was my first time having dinner at Kona Cafe. So as far as I'm aware, it was a full menu. They didn't tell us that anything was off limits,
Okay.
and it's actually the exact same menu. If you go online to Disney's website, you look at Kona Cafe's menu. It's the exact same one. And in fact, the menu, it wasn't paper. It was actually just a QR code that you scan with your phone, and it takes you to that site. So,
Okay. Was that pretty
if
easy?
oh yeah, it was super simple. You just pull out your phone. I mean, you're going to need a smartphone to do it. So,
Sure.
or at least
Well, yeah.
one person with a smartphone,
I
which is
mean, there has to be a limited amount of parties where at least
right.
one person doesn't have a smartphone nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. So it's accessible to everybody. I could see them maintaining that even after
Yeah.
COVID.
It's
You know,
funny that you
it
say that
seems,
because I've heard a lot about how restaurants might be going in that direction. It's a lot more sanitary. It makes a lot more sense, and I kind of hope that they do because I kind of like it.
yeah, and I know it's like a small impact, but as far as like being eco-friendly, like it's definitely something that Disney could boast as like, oh, this is the new age of ordering at a restaurant. This is
Right.
like the new style of doing it.
Especially
And it, oh,
since like everywhere's like eliminating straws. You might as well
right,
eliminate
yeah,
paper menus while you're at it. So
exactly, yeah.
okay, all right. So it seemed like be a full menu, and you used the QR code. What did you guys order?
So Lydia got the special that day, which was a 14-ounce New York strip steak with
Okay,
mashed potatoes and broccolini.
okay,
Um, and then I got the Kona coffee braised beef short rib, and that also came with mashed potatoes and broccolini.
and Casey, just so you know, on your left shoulder, I have a photo of you in another
Oh yeah,
Hawaiian shirt
yeah.
with your ribs and mashed potatoes. So of the two, who had the better dinner?
That's a good question. They were pretty on par so as I said, the sides were the same. So
Okay,
at that
yeah,
point, we're just comparing like the main dish or the main part of the meal. Um, I would say I probably preferred mine. I had a bite of each. Mine was a little different, a little more unique, and it like I said, it was coffee braised, so it had kind of an earthy flavor. It isn't like you're having a pot of black coffee. So don't worry about that. But it was very good.
okay. It looks good. Tell me what were the prices of your two guys' entrees?
So mine was 36, which is about what I expected, and then Lydia's was 40.
Okay,
So a little more expensive. It's a nicer cut of meat, so that makes
sure.
sense as well.
And did you find it worth it that cut of meat and that dish altogether worth $36?
Yeah, actually, that's about what I would expect. I mean, a little higher than what I would expect to pay
Sure,
for any other restaurant.
but you're at
It
Disney,
exactly, yeah.
right?
So you're paying a couple extra bucks for the ambiance and just being on property, which I'm sure everybody's happy to do. But yeah, it really wasn't egregious by any means.
Okay. And well, I mean, everyone expects to pay a little bit extra when at a Disney restaurant. So,
Exactly.
if you felt that the food was worth near $36 and Lydia is worth near 40, then sounds like there's a lot of good value there. Which I'll ask you. I'll hold that question off until the end
Yeah.
of the podcast today. So, um, what did you order? Any appetizers, dessert, drinks? Tell me what was on the menu. What did you guys kind of debate about getting, and what did you
Yeah.
ultimately get?
So it was a tough choice for me. I love island food and anything that has kind of an Asian flair to it, which this obviously does. We did get an appetizer, which was hold on, I'm looking at it right now, the crispy pork vegetable pot stickers. And I'm telling you, I could have just eaten 2 orders of those and been so happy. They were phenomenal. Um, they were just the right like amount and what I was looking for. The flavor was great. And then as far as drinks, we both got a cocktail. I got it's called the Whiskey Breeze,
Oh,
which was just a bourbon drink with some mango and lime juice flavors in there. It was very good. I wouldn't necessarily say it was like refreshing because it did have that like bourbon taste to it, but
okay.
it paired well with my meal. And then Lydia got the Ultimate Long Island iced tea, which is exactly what it sounds. It's just a Long Island, but Disneyfied.
And what were the prices of those two drinks?
They were a little more expensive. The Lydia's drink was 15 and mine was 16.
Okay. That was there value there in those two drinks, or would you do it again? How about that?
I think you can probably skip the drinks
Okay.
and just go with like getting a Coke or a water or something.
Sure.
They were very good, but it definitely like the price gap. I would expect to pay maybe like $8 for what I got at any other place, and
Okay.
so double the price. You could probably skip them and just have just as good of a time.
Okay. Well, maybe not as good as the time, right?
Right? Yeah.
So let me ask you about kind of the restaurant seating. Was there a lot of people dining? Did they sit you by people? Were there kind of those little cards on tables where you weren't allowed to sit? So talk to me about what the restaurant experience was like.
So yeah, it was very easy. First of all, we you walk up and similar to what we did for like mobile order pickups in the park, where you like scan the QR code to check. You basically check in and let them know that you're there. We just walked up, scanned to this thing, it let them know that we were there, and then we got a text message 5 minutes later to come back. Our table was ready. We They took our temperatures before we sat down, so it was nice to know that everybody in the restaurant had had their temperature taken. It was like the third time that we had gotten our temperature taken, so it felt very safe from that standpoint.
So actually, Casey, let me ask you about that specifically. Where at in the process did they take your temperature? Was it at the door going into the resort? Was it at kind of the entrance of the restaurant? And do they use the same tools and mechanisms as we're familiar with at the gates of the park?
Yeah, going into the resort, we got our temperature taken. We also
Okay.
got our temperature taken. We got on the monorail because when we walked over the Floridian, we got on the monorail and did the full circle back to the Polynesian.
Okay.
So we got it taken again there. And then as we walked up to the restaurant as well, they
So
got it taken. And it
it
was those little laser gun things that they
right.
hit you with in the forehead.
But not they don't physically touch you.
Right. No.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. That
to
sounded aggressive.
clarify, yeah. Yeah, it's just whole lobotomy process that they do for your
Right.
temperature screening. So let me ask, if it was just a family coming from the parks, and they drove a car or they're staying in another resort and they make a dining reservation over at Kona Cafe, um, do they only have to get their temperature taken once and that's at the front, or because it sounds like you had it taken twice?
Yeah, anytime you're going into the restaurant, you're going to have your temperature taken, and I would imagine that's across the board at all of the reservations. And then if you're going to take any sort of transportation over there, you're also going to get it taken. So it
Okay.
at least once, if not multiple times for the evening.
Okay. That makes sense. And then what was the mask wearing experience? Because I have a photo here of you and Lydia. Let me move this down to the bottom here. Of you and Lydia wearing your masks in the lobby. Did you find high mask compliance? It was obviously required. When were you allowed to take your masks off? At what point? And did you have to have it on at any point in the dinner?
No, you had to wear your mask if you were not sitting at your table. Anytime you got up from the table, you had to put the mask back on. But while we're at the table, we didn't have to have it on or anything like that. But even walking around outside, in the lobby, all of that, we had to wear masks, and everybody was wearing theirs. So I didn't see anybody that was trying to sneak around without one. That was good to know.
Okay. Well, that is good. So, but while you're seating, or excuse me, while you're seated at the table, you can keep it off.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good. And while you're there, um, did you notice Ohana was closed? Because that's a very crowded restaurant right next to Kona Cafe. They're on the second floor of the lobby. Did you notice that was closed?
Yeah, so actually, that was the restaurant that we were going to go to, but we noticed that they weren't taking reservations and that it was closed.
Yeah.
Although once we got there, it did look like the bar was open. Um,
Yes, that is actually a recent reopening that the bar
oh,
did.
okay.
So yeah.
So yeah, you could go to the bar, and it looked like people were also getting appetizers from there as
Okay.
well. So maybe the kitchen was still open, and we saw a few people getting like in-room food.
Yeah. Sure.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Um,
Your
so
room
it
service.
Yes, room service. Thank you. So it looked like, yeah, you could get drinks and you could get appetizers from Ohana.
One reason why Ohana is one of those restaurants that's temporarily suspended is because it's a family style character dining. And right now, the
Oh, okay.
only character dining available anywhere on Disney property is over at Disney's Riviera Resort at Topolino's Terrace restaurant. And so that's the only character dining that's available. And there's no buffets or family style meals right now. So
That
That
makes sense.
might be Ohana might be one of those restaurants that doesn't open for quite a while. But if the bar's reopening, at least they're kind of getting people in there a little bit. And if Ohana eventually does open up, it may kind of shift from that family style kind of plating to maybe a plated dinner or some
Hmm.
sort of other format for guests if they're going to reopen. But all
Yeah.
right, but this episode is not about Ohana. Um, so you had your meal. Do you remember what your total bill came to?
We used a Disney credit card, so I think we got like I think it's 10% off, or it was some percentage off. I think 112 was
Okay.
what it came to in total. Um, now, mind you, 31 of that was drinks alone.
Right.
So that's the kind of the part that you can skip.
So
Um,
about $80 for appetizers and food. Let me ask you kind of a tough question here. How would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of value um, of the restaurant itself? So not just like, was how was your food or your experience, but compare it in relative terms to the price. So let's say $80. We'll take off the alcohol drinks
mhm.
between the ambiance or the environment of the restaurant of Kona Cafe, the food, the service, the ease of your temperature screening and sitting down. How did you feel at $80 for appetizers and entrees in terms of value? And then if you could do the difficult task of rating that on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, that is a difficult one. Overall, it was a great experience. I have no complaints with it. The servers were great. The ambiance of Kona Cafe is really nice. I've been there for breakfast. It definitely feels much more like a breakfast lunch type of restaurant. It's very open, kind of cafeteria esque. So um,
It's funny that
I
you
wouldn't.
say that because I get the same sense about Kona Cafe too. Although I really like going there for dinner, um, we always find ourselves making reservations for Kona for breakfast because it just feels more like a breakfast place, and Ohana feels more
Yeah.
like the dinner place, which is kind of funny. But anyways, I'm sorry. So you were saying the ambiance of Kona Cafe, first time there for dinner.
Yeah, so it like you said, Ohana definitely feels more like the elevated dinner place to go. That being said, the ambiance is not bad by any means. There's lots of fun stuff to look at. You get a great view of the chandelier fixture in the lobby.
Hmm.
Um, so that aspect of it is a lot of fun. It seems like a great place to go for a family. It's not necessarily like a romantic place. So maybe if you're planning like a date night or anything at the Polynesian, might maybe look elsewhere, but overall, we had no complaints. So I would probably give it a 7 out of 10 if I had to
Okay.
give it a number. Yeah.
Okay, I mean 7 out of 10. I think is a strong score, particularly since it's not like the flagship or marquee restaurant at the Polynesian. I kind of tell clients that it's a nice supplement to Ohana since Ohana's closed because you still get
Exactly.
the ambiance and the environment of Disney's Polynesian Village Resort because that lobby, just the smell, and just the overall aesthetic, it's just fun and relaxing. And so to
Yeah.
be at Kona Cafe overlooking the lobby. I still think it's a very good alternative to Ohana right now. But even that said, I could definitely do breakfast at Kona Cafe and
Hmm.
dinner at Ohana if I was at the Polynesian. So
Oh
so
yeah.
I heard you say it earlier. Would you recommend Kona for couples? I mean, you guys went as a birthday celebration, just you guys.
Hmm.
Would you recommend it for couples? Is it more geared towards families? And overall, how would you kind of guide our clients and guests in making a determination about making a reservation at Kona with their little ones who may be picky eaters?
Yeah. So I guess I'll sum it up as it is a very fun restaurant. It's not. I wouldn't call it necessarily like romantic or elevated. So if you and your loved one are looking to go as a couple for just like a fun dinner, fun breakfast, fun lunch, anything like that, I would say definitely go for it. There's lots of other menu options. So that $80 that we spent, we got some of the most expensive items on the menu. And there are plenty of dishes that are right around $20. So you could easily be in and out the door with only spending like $50.
For two.
So Yeah, for two.
Are there
It,
are there anything? Is there anything on the menu that you see right now that might be more kid friendly, who might have a more limited palate? And I'm putting you on the spot because I know you have the menu up. So if you don't see anything,
yeah,
no big
yeah.
deal.
So there is the kids menu. There's the taco, cheeseburger. There is a kids sushi option
Oh,
and
nice.
macaroni and cheese. So it actually seems like it would be great to bring kids because if you have a more adventurous eater, they can try a few new things. Or a more reserved, picky eater, there you can go with macaroni and cheese, and you can't beat that. So
Yeah. All right. Well, excellent. So is there, and then just to kind of conclude your evening over at the Polynesian, you forewent, excuse me, dessert at Kona Cafe, and then you went and got your iconic Dole Whips. Did you take those to the beach? Did you walk around the resort? And obviously, I know the answer is they were good, but how were the Dole Whips?
yeah, they were. It is my by far my favorite Disney treat. So for me, the best part of going to Kona Cafe was getting to spend the evening at the Polynesian. So we got the Dole Whip, we got the lobby experience, we got the great food at Kona Cafe, and we were able to just kind of walk around the park, or not the park, the resort for a little bit. Then we got our Dole Whips and ate them over at Sunset Point, which is kind of at the center of all of the I think they're all DVC, right?
Oh, the
The like the
bungalows.
yes, the bungalows out
Right.
on the water.
Yes. Yes.
So they kind of do the bungalows do a big arc, and Sunset Point is right at the center of that arc. So you get to overlook the entire resort, the beach, and watch the sunset behind the Grand Floridian. So I mean, getting to eat a Dole Whip and watch that is fantastic.
Right. You can't beat it.
Exactly.
Can't beat it. So, is there anything else you want to add? Is there anything that I forgot to ask you about your experience at Kona, or even over at the Polynesian?
Um, it,
Or
Overall,
I just did
it's
that great of a job asking you
yeah.
questions.
It is by far my favorite resort, so of course I'm gonna love it. It's also great to be able to walk over to the Grand Floridian and even get on the monorail and do the loop. It really felt like we got a lot of value out of just doing a dinner reservation at Kona Cafe. I mean, to be able to do that and spend an entire evening um, around Disney. We weren't able to go into the parks or anything, but it was a lot of fun. A great birthday, a great way to celebrate a birthday. So I'd highly recommend it to anybody that is able to.
Yeah. Well, excellent. Again, 7 out of 10. I think that's a pretty strong score. I'm glad that you guys had a good experience. And I think this is a lot of good information for our clients or those looking to book a trip and wondering what is the dining experience like now. Can I get a reservation? And are there things to do that don't aren't necessarily in the parks? And so, as you
Right.
said, spending the entire evening at the Polynesian, you felt like you had a day's worth of relaxing and fun. So
Oh
so
yeah,
that's good.
and if you were to do like lunch at the Polynesian or anything like that, like I said, Disney Springs is 10 minutes away, and you can spend an entire day there. So in that area, within 15 minutes, you have a lot of options. So
That's true. All right. Well, Case, thanks a lot for joining us and telling us about your experience. And if you guys have seen our in-park vlogs, you know that Casey is in the parks taking photos, bringing us updates from in the parks. So you'll see him more and more here on podcasts and vlogs. So Case, thanks a lot for joining. We
yeah,
appreciate all your insight.
yeah. Thank you for having me, and
Yeah.
thank you everybody for watching and listening.
All right. So, if you or your family is interested in visiting not only Disney's Polynesian Village Resort or the Kona Cafe, but going to Disney in 2020 or 2021, make sure to visit us at www.407vacations.com, and we will get you linked up with your own personalized vacation planner who will help plan your family's perfect vacation. So, um, from here at 407 and Beyond podcast. Thanks a lot for watching. Please join us Monday night at 7:30 on Facebook Live. This week we'll be talking with our very new vacation planner, Alex Werber, talking about her experience inside Disney parks. Her and her family just got done with a weeks-long stay there, so we're going to ask her what her experience was like, how busy it was and what it's like to be there right now with kids. So guys, thanks again for watching. We appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and please, please, please share us with your friends and on your Facebook page. Help us grow the Disney and Universal fan community and plan as many perfect family vacations as possible. So guys, have a good week. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.